Okay, so we'll start sitting comfortably, whatever that is for you, and just in such a way that we can let our spine be long and relaxed, right? And just start to breathe. We're going to slow down our breathing a little bit, sort of let it deepen and slow down, go inside. Eyes can close or just be soft, whatever's comfortable, and allowing our belly to relax as we breathe, our shoulders, jaw, tongue, brow, noticing if there are any places where there's any tension that might need some breath. Just notice that. And also allowing sound to come out on the exhale if you like too. If that helps us release, we can just let out, whatever. Moan. We bring ourselves inside and see what's going on. And then if we want to take one hand to our low belly, just gently tapping on the hara or the dantian right below the navel, waking up that little power center there as we breathe. Again, noticing how our body feels, how relaxed we are, or if we just need a little extra breath into certain places. And then bringing both hands, fingers around the heart, we'll just gently tap our heart and thymus. Stimulation to our immune system and heart. And then we can bring our hands up to our head and massage our scalp. So we can wake up our head and all those meridians that are running through the scalp there. We'll always get a little tingly when I do this. And then bringing our fingers to our ears. I'm doing a little massage around our ears. We can just gently pull and press. And wake up our vagus nerve. Then bringing our finger inside the ears, gently pull down and hold and breathe. Good. And then we can bring our arms out from our shoulders and do a little movement of our spine. So reaching our arms forward, pulling the heart back, and then bringing our arms back and lifting the heart. And feel those shoulder blades squeeze together a little bit. And reaching forward, reaching back. As we breathe. Wake up our spine, stretch to that part of our body. Good, and then we'll just let our arms come down by our side and come into butterfly, long-legged butterfly, with our feet a little bit away from our hips. You might like a pillow under your legs for support. Now we'll just come forward here. Let our hips and legs relax, let go. Feel a little stretch in our sacrum. We can always massage our feet while we're here. Give our feet a little bit of love, squeeze, and whatever the feet might need. Sometimes if you press around your feet and kind of explore, you might find a little sore spot, a place that feels a little bit tender, and that's probably related to an organ or a part of your body that might need a little extra attention. So we can just press, hold into spots like that, just massage in the area. Sometimes will happen. Of course, butterfly is really nice stretch for the gallbladder meridian, particularly well as a little gentle hip opener, sacrum stretch. You might find that your hips will more slowly and gradually let go, staying in this pose for a little bit. So we'll bring ourselves up from here and bring the legs out. If you want to move them around a little bit first, that's good. But we're going to open our legs into a straddle, and the straddle can be whatever width is comfortable to start with, of course. Lift our sits bones to make sure we're on pelvis is on top here, and maybe a pillow or something in between the legs if you like. Kind of find your straddle, and we'll just come forward onto our elbows here. Just relax. Sometimes it pulls on the inside of the knee a little bit, in which case you can bring your legs closer together or something under the knees for support. Straddle isn't, or dragonfly is what this pose is. If it's not that comfortable for you, you can just make little adjustments like that, or sit on a pillow or something under the hips to help. And of course, with yin, we always want to find our edge, come to that place where we start to feel some resistance, and then allow gravity and time to let us go a little further if that's what our body wants, right? So just no need to force the body into a pose. We use the pose to get into our body, not the body to get into the pose. Let ourselves relax into the gravitational pull on the weight of our body. If we can round our spine forward, if that's comfortable, and if it's comfortable to let the head drop. We get that nice stretch in our spine and decompression of the vertebra. It's getting a nice stretch in the back of the neck and the upper back. Of course, if ever we're doing a pose that your body doesn't particularly want to do, you can choose a different pose as long as it's a yin pose. Maybe we can do something different. If this isn't the right pose for you, adjust it or do something altogether different. Obviously, this is quite a hip opener pose. Hip opening pose. Butterfly is a gentle hip opening pose. Dragonfly is a more intense hip opener. So today is the holiday, that beautiful springtime that we have as a reminder that it's the holiday called Easter in the Christian world, also the time of Passover, and I'm sure many other cultural holidays that I'm unaware of around the world. The word Easter derives originally from the name Astarte, a Chaldean goddess known as the Queen of Heaven. She was also called Ashtoreth or Ishtar. And some other countries in the world this time of Easter, that name has a lot of different derivations. And in Greece, they have a festival. There's a festival called Oster, and the goddess, and this is Germany. In Germany, there's a festival called Ostern, and the goddess is Ostara. And in some European countries, the Easter takes its name from the pagan goddess Esther, who is the goddess of spring and renewal. All various derivations of the original Astarte, goddess of Queen of Heaven. So we're going to slowly come up from there. Remember to always move slowly out of a pose because our connective tissue needs more time than our muscles to come back. And we're going to just let our legs kind of move around, do whatever feels good to the legs right now. Shake and give them a bounce. And then we'll come back into the straddle and bring our left foot into our right thigh. And you might like a pillow under your left knee for support. We're going to turn towards our right leg, come forward, so this half butterfly. And just let your body start to relax forward over your right leg. And again, start with wherever we feel a little bit of a resistance or stretch happening, and then eventually we go a little farther into it with time. Time is our friend. Paying attention and noticing our body and what's happening. Our mind and our heart. One of the most ancient icons in mythology is the cosmic egg. And it's a universal symbol and myth, actually, and many great myths have emerged from that concept, you could say. In Macedonia, there's a hill that's out in the middle of a great, just a field where there's I guess it's called a geoglyph, a giant glyph of this cosmic egg. I don't know how big it is, but it's quite large. And it's, assumed that that's what it represents, is this cosmic egg. So if you want to, you can add a little more to that stretch by bringing your left arm up, facing forward and taking it over like that, or you can just leave your arm on your leg if this isn't comfortable. Want to add just a little more stretch to that, you can, for however long your arm wants to be up there. So they're a team of sort of an international team of investigators into that site in Macedonia who are studying this glyph of this cosmic egg, have noticed that it's oriented toward the constellation of Cassiopeia. And Cassiopeia represents the Queen of Heaven. So Astarte, the Queen of Heaven. There are many myths and representations of this egg, and one of them is that in the beginning, there was a great cosmic egg created by time that hatched an androgynous being who contained the seeds of creation. And another one is the life force within the egg cracked open, and the material within became the universe, the sky, earth, and the stars. That sounds a little more plausible to me than the Big Bang Theory, actually. So we're going to lengthen our torso, both arms on the leg. Let's just lengthen our torso and lift up a little bit, just a little bit off the leg. We'll take our left hand to the outside of the right calf, right hand out and a little bit back, and just kind of spiral back into a twist. Gently pull yourself into a twist. Taking a couple breaths. or 3 or 4. And then coming back around to face our leg for just a little moment longer. You might find that you're deepening all the way down on top of that leg. Little stretch, a little more stretch into our left lateral hip and our side body. It's such a nice stretch for that hip, part of the hip that can be tricky to reach. Okay, and then we can slowly walk ourselves up, sitting, and maybe, windshield wiper the legs or whatever feels good for a moment. And we'll go to the other side. So we can extend the legs out and bend that right leg in. So bring that foot in toward thigh, maybe supporting it if it needs it. Turning towards our left leg, relaxing forward here. So the symbol of the egg is such a great metaphor of potentiality, which of course is the sort of the essence of springtime, right? The essence of this time of year of new beginnings, the potential for the upcoming years, all contained the moment, to the moment of the spring equinox, you could say. And I think after sometime AD, after after Jesus' death and the resurrection, is when Easter became associated with the resurrection and became established as to when it would be. The first determined that it would fall on the Sunday following the first full moon after the spring equinox. It became a worldwide holiday. If you want to add more to that stretch, you can always bring your right arm back, kind of face forward, maybe take it over the head, or you can just leave arm on your leg if you prefer. For however long this arm wants to stay here. Of course, this adds just a little bit of yang to this yin pose, to lift our arm. A little more stretch to our side and shoulder as well. Anytime that arm wants to come down, of course. Most of my associations with Easter, being raised in this United States Christian country that we live in, have been around sugar. Mostly sugar. And I never was very crazy about jelly beans or the marshmallow peeps. But never understood the marshmallow peeps. I always felt sort of an obligation to eat the sugar that was given to us at Easter as children. It always seemed like too much sugar. But I worked my way through it eventually. Of course, the Easter egg hunts were always fun. That was pretty much the funnest part of Easter for kids. I was growing up. So we'll lengthen our torso and lift up just a little bit. And then bring our right hand to the outside of the left calf, left hand a little bit back. Just gently pull into a twist here. A little spiral back. Take some breaths. And we'll just come back around to face our leg again for a little while longer. Just relaxing forward here over our leg. Maybe getting a little deeper into that stretch. Notice our breath starting to deepen a little and slow down a little bit. Okay, so we'll go ahead and slowly come up from there. Walk ourselves up to sitting. and move the legs, maybe lean back and windshield wiper, or if you want to stretch them out and kind of shake them, whatever feels good to you. Move the hips. Let's bring our feet in towards our hips and lean back on the hands and lift the hips up and down a few times. That helps get the blood moving through the legs. And then we'll come onto our belly. So if you need a bolster, fine, you can bring it with you. And we'll start out with infant pose. So we come onto our belly and bring our arms alongside us. Just lift up and kind of roll the shoulders back. Reach for the feet. So locust is another more well-known name for this in pose and yin. So our back muscles woken up. Then we can bring our elbows underneath our shoulders, the Sphinx. Right, to rock the hips, rock the body a little bit here to kind of get used to. This pose. Just bending in the other direction. The main back bend that we do, but back bends in general are very nourishing for the kidneys and the kidney meridian. Also, nice prevention, bone loss, the low back. You might like to hang your head up, down, or look up and kind of get a little bit of a stretch in the front of our neck, a little bit of compression in the neck, the back of the neck. And also lift our feet and kind of increase that compression in our low back and the stretch. Add to that. Takes me a while because of my tightness in one of my sides to get into this pose and be able to lift my feet. Like to move your feet around, circle the ankle. Even though we hold a pose in yin for a while, sometimes there's movement in that stillness, like moving our head around while we're in Sphinx, right? Kind of like that Tao, that Taoist image, or it's one of the primary Taoist concepts of the great rooted tree by the running river. So you have that stillness with the movement. Main principles of Tao. So let's take a short break in half frog. So if you want to just slide your left knee up and rest head on hands, look to the left. Allow that to relax. You can move the leg around however you want. Explore that little hip opening there. Okay, so we'll slide our leg down and come back into Sphinx, or come into Seal by arms and maybe making them a little wider apart with our fingers spread wide. Also bring a pillow underneath the pelvis for support, or stay in Sphinx in any variation. Something underneath the forearms to increase your back bend. Lift the knees. It's preferable. And just going in and out of any of the variations feels right for us. A couple of minutes. You're in Seal and you just let your head drop down. It's a very nice little stretch for the upper back and the neck. So if you are up in Seal, you might start to eventually come back down to Sphinx, but gently coming out of it. And then we can take a little break in half frog on the right side. right neck. And then we'll slide our leg back down and come up onto our all fours, if that's doable for you. Otherwise, you can find another position to move your spine, and we'll start to gently move our spine by curling the tailbone under and rounding our back, and then arch, cat cow movements. Gently, slowly to start with, and then it can get a little bigger. Bring our spine back into balance here. And if we come to neutral, we can just circle our hips, just let our spine go. A little bit of a spiraling motion. Go. And the other direction. Hopefully the head can just let go with it. And then we'll sit back onto our heels in child's pose. Back maybe with your knees apart or open, whatever you prefer. Feet together or apart, whatever feels right for you. Find such a nourishing pose. Okay, so we'll come up from there and bring ourselves around onto our back. Might want to have a bolster handy, pillow or something. We'll start by hugging the knees into our chest and keep rocking our body around. We can imagine that we're an egg. We can curl ourselves into a ball like we're inside of that cosmic egg, ready to be birthed into our full potential. Right, and then we're going to bring our feet down and cross your right leg over the left and just reach in and grab hold of your thigh through, or you might grab hold of your shin and pull your leg in. You might press against that right leg with your elbow, whatever feels good to you in this pose, right? So this is known as a supine swan in yin, variation of swan. Swan, of course, is a hip stretch, deep hip stretch. Doing a pretty long held hip stretch is really nice stretch for the hip as well as the IT band and that whole outside part of our leg. Stretches a few meridians as well. So we can also in this particular pose, or a pose where you're stretching your hip with your knee bent like this, whether it's supine or on your belly, if you flex the foot, that will protect the knee, right? So sometimes our knee joint can really feel the hip stretch as well, and we might want to kind of engage the muscles around the knee by flexing our foot. Okay, so we'll bring our left foot down to the ground, keep the right leg crossed over. Bring our arms out somewhere from our shoulders and let our legs sway over to the left. You might adjust your hips a little bit and maybe have that right foot will come all the way down to the ground. Feel free to kind of move your body and adjust your hips. This will create a little bit with our foot on the ground and this right knee up. Of course, you'll notice how that changes the stretch through the outer leg and the hip. Into a little bit different muscles there, and you might even like to use your left hand to press into your right knee a little bit to hold it up. It's always nice to just explore, right? A little exploration into that stretch there. And then we'll go ahead and lift our legs slowly back to the top, keeping in this same position. Maybe shift your hips and then sway your legs over to the right. And here's where you might like to have a pillow or something underneath your legs for support. You can relax. Try to adjust the hips a little bit. Okay, we can bring our legs up from there and uncross that top leg, bring both knees in and maybe move your legs around, whatever feels good to your legs, and circle the legs or straighten and bend them. And then we'll cross our left leg over our right and reach through, grab hold of that right leg. Or you might grab hold of your shin or your thigh, whatever. Might press into that left leg with your elbow. And you might need to flex your foot to protect your knee if that's your knee feels a little bit delicate there. bring our foot down. And if you have a bolster that you might want to move to the left side, and we'll take a little twist to the right with our legs, arms extended out. Maybe that foot comes all the way down onto the ground. Keeping our shoulders on the ground. And also explore pushing, just pressing a little bit into your left leg with your right hand. Like to explore that kind of different hip stretch through there. The leg is more pointed toward the ceiling. Puts the stretch in a little bit different place than if it's kind of falling down toward your right arm on the ground. Explore that. And we'll lift our legs slowly back up and take them over to the left in this position, and having something under for support if you like. You might notice too, if you turn the head in the opposite direction of our twist, where our legs are, also add a little bit more to the twist here. Okay, and we can go ahead and bring our legs back up and hug our knees into our chest. Again, maybe moving our body, maybe straightening and bending the legs or whatever feels good to your legs, hips. Just taking a moment to integrate. We can come to whatever position is comfortable. You might bolster under something, under a body part or not. Just relax and breathe here. So, yeah, just noticing our body and how we feel, noticing our breath. A little more relaxed, deeper. Feeling that energy circulating throughout our body. Giving thanks for our body for being there for us. Giving thanks to our breath. Giving thanks to Gaia for the support that's always there under our feet. Feel free to continue to lie down or to get up slowly. Thank you for coming.